Listen to me, motherfucker. I'm talking. I say horrible things sometimes because I think they're funny. My podcast is a verbal mosh pit because it's just me pinwheeling around. You don't know where the fuck I'm going to wind up, and I generally have no idea when it's going to end or start. I'm responsible for this whole goddamn thing. I want a little respect from you people. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. Why are you fake laughing right off the jump? That's so silly. Because your weird point, is that why? She finds different ways to trigger the show every week. Because I sit here, folks, again, I'm an automaton. I just sit here staring into space, doing nothing until she touches my nose or does a point or rubs a wet vibrator on my face. If she does that, then I know it's time to start the goddamn show. Yeah, by the way, folks, that happened. That just happened. She's like, want to see my new vibrator? Well, I think that's a question that nobody needs to be asked twice, correct? I mean... That's an automatic yes from pretty much anybody. And so she's, before I even got the yes out, however, she went and grabbed it. She grabbed it off the countertop. Apparently a traveling troupe of lonely women stopped by and imparted one of their vibrators onto Lily. And it was a new one. It was freshly in the bag.
The pack from Babeland.
There's our friend Lily Von Stoop. She's a Stoop. Why did I say it like that? You know why? Because I still have wet vibrator face. It's like the tanginess has ruined my mouth. So it's an egg vibrator from Babeland. Babeland.com. Why am I plugging them? They didn't do anything for us. You got a free vibrator, but not from them. It was from ladies.
The Dangerous Curves Ahead.
Oh, okay. The Dangerous Curves Ahead burlesque tour came to town, and in the midst of twirling their tassels, they were handing out free vibrators. So they wound up giving Lily one. So Lily's like, "Hey, you want to see my new vibrator?" And again, folks, as I've mentioned, that is not a question. You don't even contemplate an answer. I wasn't going to say no, but even if I was going to just say yes, which we all know I didn't even get a chance to get it out because she immediately scooped it up and she like waved it at my face. She's like, "See, check it out." And I went, "Oh, okay, that's what's like an egg." And then she kind of held it close, and I was like, "I don't know if we need to get that close with it." She goes, "What's wrong?" And then she rubbed it on my face. Now, I will tell you, she hasn't used it yet. She says she hasn't. All right, there's no batteries in it, so she maintains that she's like, "What kind of ladies give away a free vibrator without batteries in it?" And
Cheap one.
yeah.
Damn it.
But I'm thinking that maybe they gave her one with batteries and Lily's already burned them out. I mean, that's what I think. I think somehow they gave her this vibrator like Monday and she's already burned the fucking batteries out, so she had to take them out. I have no clue. But suffice to say, she rubs it on my face. Like she just goes, "Ah, ha, ha, ha." And then she starts laughing because she thinks she played a neat trick. And then I look at her and I go, that vibrator was wet from the condensation of your soda glass. And she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And then she like wipes my face with her hand and then takes a towel and wipes my face. And let's just say, we're all hoping it was condensation from the soda glass. That's what I'm hoping. I don't know, in your house of filth, I don't know what you've got going on here. That's when it's Lily Von Stump's house of filth. She stole it from the Screw Brothers. She's went, "You know what? Yeah, fuck Babeland. This vibrator's from the Screw Brothers." That's who she got it from the house of filth. Please, folks, if you know anything, remember that it's not filthy if it isn't screw filthy. And that's actually like a better English version of it. That's the proper way of saying their slogan. It isn't filthy unless it's screw filthy. That's right. So that's one of our sponsors, the Screw Brothers. I enjoy their work. All right, folks. So yeah, I had a wet vibrator rubbed on my face. That's interesting. So how are you? I'm good, thank you. And that's stuck in my head. Because, first of all, let me go ahead and talk about this. Anybody who bought the year 2 download set, you folks are out there. You know who you are. Thank you, first of all, for your purchase. I sent you a nice note because I have to write a crafty note. I have to answer these emails. I have to fill all these orders, and it's a very busy time over at Mike Schmidt Inc. So I'm filling all the orders and I send them all out, and then the emails start rolling in from folks going, "Hey, Mike, no episode 6 in my year 2. Is that and some guy, I think he wrote aesthetic choice. I think that's what he said. And I'm like, "Oh, that's not good." So I immediately call up Lily Von Stupp, who's also one of the Hydra heads of Mike Schmidt Inc. And I said, "Hey, do you know anything about missing year 6 or episode 6 in year 2 download side?" And she said, and I was like, "Oh, what? That sounds like an egg from the House of Filth. Is that what's going on over there?" Because that's what it is, folks. She went ahead and put together the year 2 download set, but apparently somewhere between episode 5 and episode 7, she got a new vibrator. and decided to try it out for 4 days. That's one of the reasons why it took so long for me to fill the orders, folks, is because she was supposed to be putting it together, but instead she went straight up, 5'8" chicken and sat on an egg for the past week and a half. But this one didn't hatch. She just wound up burning the batteries out. So, folks, just know that if you did not get an episode 6, it's on the way. It'll be there. It's probably there now by the time you hear my voice, because I plan on going home after that. Well, I can't go home after this. I have a show tonight. I don't even know, quite frankly, why they would book former stand-up comedian Mike Schmidt.
Former stand-up comedian.
That was my introduction the other night when I went and did Jordan Jesse's show. Jesse Thorne and Jordan Morris, very nice guys. They do the Sound of Young America podcast is Jesse Thorne solo, and then the Jordan Jesse Go podcast. Well, they're MaximumFun.org, which, by the way, they were doing a pledge drive. I don't know if they're still collecting dough, but if you want to throw them some dough, go ahead. But they had an 8-hour show the other night, and they asked me to be on it. And I show up, and I'm waiting. They interviewed the guys from Super Ego, which is another very popular podcast, and they were having some. When I walked in, they were having a taste test situation with 8 people, and they were drinking like cups of vinegar and cups of Tabasco sauce, like this weird. Again, when you're on the air for 8 hours, folks, you're looking for basically anything at that point. But I guess it had something to do with the previous show they had done. So they're taste testing, and it's so funny. I walk in and they're doing that, and in my head I'm like, how am I not involved in the taste test segment? How the fuck do you invite me on, well-known consumer Mike Schmidt, and you don't have me involved in doing? Quite frankly, I don't want to do shots of Tabasco and shots of vinegar. I guess that it makes sense that I wouldn't be involved in that. But I still would have had me on the panel because I would have done it. Folks, I put worse shit in my mouth. All right. Case in point, a vibrator egg. Hey, I already got herpes. What the fuck? What other damage am I going to do? Break my teeth? I figured out what this is, by the way. I still have this thing on my mouth, all right? But it's not herpes, because I Googled herpes, folks. And let me tell you, there's no better hours spent than looking at pictures of cold sores and herpes on the internet. I shudder of, I don't think about this, but I really wonder what my internet provider is going to think. Like, they have a record of all the shit that I look at. So they're going to be like, last year I thought I had thrush and AIDS, and now this year I might have herpes. They're like, what is this guy doing? Holy God. But I know exactly what this is. I figured it out, folks. I have a vitamin deficiency, and it leads to it's leading to my mouth and my gums and stuff being all hinky. Because I stopped taking my vitamins. Over 2 years ago, I stopped taking my multivitamin and my vitamin B12. And as folks, when I had surgery, I was supposed to take vitamins every day. Well, I stopped. And it's funny because Goble yelled at me. He's like, dude, the easiest thing of this whole fucking situation is to take the vitamins. But here's why I stopped doing it. Again, folks, here's a window into my stupid head. All right, it used to be that in the morning I would get up, I'd have a couple bananas, some orange juice, I'd go lift, and I'd come home. And then I would make my protein shake. I'd make a big-ass protein shake. And while I was making that protein shake, I would eat my Flintstone chewables, and then I would swallow my B12. All right? Because I was like, because they were perfect. Again, the Flintstone chewables, you take 2 of them, and you're covered forever. It's like, seriously, I don't know if you know this, folks. Betty and Wilma and Fred and Barney are chock full of vitamins. And it's like, Just because vitamins look like Fred and Barney doesn't make them unhealthy for you, folks. Go get them. But I changed. All right, so now I've switched over. So that was my routine, though, is I would do that. Well, then it turned out that I needed to start taking calcium as well, because I don't drink milk. I don't drink any more milk. I haven't in a very long time. Very rarely, like literally once every 6 months will I have milk. So they're like, dude, your bones are brittle. They didn't say that really, but they're like, dude, you need to start taking calcium. So I went and bought this calcium, and now here's the thing. I have to take the calcium twice a day, and I have to take it with food. Well, my schedule isn't really set up to eat properly and do all that kind of stuff. And plus, if I'm out, I don't have the calcium with me. I'm not carrying my vitamins around like a fucking 80-year-old man. So I cashiered the entire enterprise. I instead of taking my vitamins in the daytime and then worrying about my second calcium supplement later, possibly to remember or not remember, I just cashiered all of it. I stopped taking any vitamins. So I haven't done that for 2 years. And I talked last week about the V team heading into my body and taking care of business. Well, the V team has had a couple years off. And I kept wondering, like, because I will tell you this, I have my gums are sore. They're not bleeding, and they're not. And I told you I was really worried. So when I went to the dentist, I asked him about it. He's like, I don't see anything wrong. There's nothing wrong here. But it's just I can feel it, like my lips and my gum. It just feels odd. So then I went again. I Googled it, and sure enough, one of the things of mouth is vitamin deficiency, and they're like, you might have a deficiency of vitamin B, and I'm like, I got a deficiency of all vitamins. I haven't taken any vitamins. I've been taking vitamin C for candy. That's what I've been taking. So instead, I said, fuck this. So I started my vitamins again. I started June 1st. I put a little thing on Rocky with a Blog. Folks, Rocky with the Blog started. It is now underway. Yes, no one cares. But I wrote just a small blog entry. And I got to tell you this, folks. I'm getting used to having a website where I'm supposed to update shit, okay? And seriously, because I'll throw something on Facebook or I'll throw something on Twitter rarely, and I need to do more of this, and I will. I swear to God, I will. It's happening. It's going to start happening. I did a second Rocky entry yesterday, and just to tell people that it had started, because there are a ton of people that put comments on my page. Some guy ran like fucking 6 miles, and other people are losing weight, and I'm excited about these people. That's great. So now I need to fucking maybe do it instead of hosting a chat room for people who are all better than me. Maybe I need to go ahead and get on board with Rocky. So here's what I did. I have to basically I have to segue into right now. I just changed eating habits and stuff. I didn't start lifting and stuff yet because I also have to figure out. All right, here's one of the reasons. Another thing, folks. I live upside down. So what I was doing before was my thing was I would get up in the morning. I would get up at like 9 and I would have a couple bananas and a thing of orange juice, and then I would go meet my trainer at 10, and I would lift hard from 10 to like 11:30, and then I would be home, and that's when I would take a shower, vitamins, protein shake, and then let's face the day. Well, now I don't go to bed until like 10 a.m. So basically all I got to do is I've just got to figure out how it works time-wise. Like I've got to adjust my schedule, because now my old 9 a.m. is now 4 p.m. But the problem is then when I get up at 4 p.m., if I get up and have bananas, orange juice, and I go work out, then Karen gets home at 7 and wants to go have dinner. So I have to try to work it out where I have time with my wife as well as it, but I do things the right way. It's not a hard thing. It's just something that I need to fucking do, and I'll do it. Because like I said, I started already with the eating habits. We went. I got to buy a bunch of fruit and all these different things. Yes, I know. Please don't mock me. she's literally just held up a pad of paper. She's like 10 minutes. And I'm like, wow, 10 minutes of awful, but that's fine. But here's what I did for Rocky, folks. Like I said, I started on the vitamins again, and I start changing food. But I'll tell you this: I shaved off my goatee. Shaved the whole thing. So now I have like a crazy, regular, normal face. Yeah, okay. I look like Rush Limbaugh's kid. I do. It's sad, but I do. Because I saw a picture. It's funny. Mex put up a picture on his Facebook page of he and I from 1994, and he's like, it's us in a backyard, and it's funny because Mex is really gorgeous. Like he's a really good looking guy. Lily actually said, boy, he looks like a woman. He's so pretty in that photo. I'm like, yeah. And it also doesn't hurt that he's next to the fattest man on earth doing a weird rap pose. But if you look at this picture again, it's from 1994, and I have a goatee, and this is when I was crazy fat. I was on my way to being super fat. But I was fat, but I was on my way. Believe me, if you go look at that photo, you're like, wow, that's a fat dude. Not even close to my heaviest. But I had the goatee even then. And I looked at it and I'm like, holy fuck, that's 16 years ago. And I had a goatee then. And I know exactly why I had a goatee and why I've had a goatee. To hide my fat head. You know what I mean? That's one of the main reasons why I had it. Any facial hair, unless you're like a skinny guy and you look good in that facial hair, good for you. But any fat guy who grows a beard or anything like that is really he's just putting on a chin strap to hide his 14 chins. I mean, that's really all that's going on. So I grew it back then when I was fat. And then it's funny, when I started losing weight after the surgery, I actually shaved it. And then I went soul patch for a while, and then I actually had straight mustache for like 3 days, I think. And then stop. What are you doing? You're not a baseball player from the 70s. Shave immediately. But I shaved my goatee, so when I started losing weight, I actually didn't have it. I was like, all right, well, let's change the whole thing up. And then I started to gain weight again, and then I stopped shaving, because what I would do is I would grow it and then shave it, grow it, whatever. So now I grew it and I kept it. And I know exactly why. I grew it and I kept it because I was hiding behind it. I was hiding behind the fact that my face was getting fat again. And I was like, oh, well, I can pull it off with a goatee. At least it adds a little character. Because that thing is, a fat face has no character. None. I mean, it's funny. Lily says I look like I have a baby face. But it's in the truest sense of the word. I look like a giant infant because I'm fat. I have a giant, fleshy, doughy, fat, and not cute like a Gerber baby. I'm talking, I'm fat. Gerber baby's totally cute, but I look like the 2-year-old kid who smokes in Thailand. Have you seen that fucking clip on the YouTube? Oh, it's awesome. That kid is awesome. And Karen, when we watched it, she goes, you know what? He looks like you when you smoke, because I'll do that to be a dick sometimes. Because my wife, I think we all know about my wife and her smoking. Again, she had cancer and wound up surviving, and somehow continues to tempt fate. Like literally, just holds a pork chop in front of the devil. I don't know why she does it, but she does it. And does the devil like pork chops? I have no idea. He invented them. He better fucking like them, because there's no way those are not from God or any other creed. That's strictly fucking Satan's barbecue. Pork chops are fucking amazing. Oh my God, the best thing ever that I ever ate for breakfast. Dude, pork chops. There was a restaurant down in Orange County, and I was never more sad than when it was closed. When I used to live in Orange County, we would go. There was a 24-hour deal. So again, here's your fat friend. We'd go there in the middle of the night for breakfast, and they had this breakfast that was 3 eggs and hash browns and pork chops with bacon gravy. No, fuck all that. Because if everywhere you go now serves sausage gravy, you can't find bacon gravy anywhere. Bacon gravy, dude. All right, I'm going to throw this out there. Look, Rocky with the blog started. I shaved my goatee. I plan on losing weight, all this stuff. But I got to be honest. If anybody out there knows any place near my house in Los Angeles that serves bacon gravy, fucking tell me. Because you know what? I can do that once a week. Or no, like once, one time I can go and say, all right, because, dude, bacon gravy can't be stopped. It's just... If there was like a monster made of bacon gravy, I would happily die. I would just like, all right, dude. I would try to bite him to death, and then I would perish. Let's put it this way. There was no way. I don't care how deep it was. There is no way I could drown in bacon gravy, because I would drink it until it was gone. I would just, and then it would be, sadly, I would be, at the end of it, it would just be me covered in bacon gravy standing in an empty room with like sort of bacon gravy on the floor. Everybody like, what the fuck? Didn't you drown? I'd be like, no, I didn't, but I could use maybe a spoon to maybe get this, and then I'd continue like licking my arms. Bacon gravy is the greatest thing you'll put in your mouth. Seriously, other than like pussies. I mean, I couldn't. The only thing I would want to eat more than pussy is bacon gravy. Honestly, that's right. Bacon gravy goes above pussy on my list. And if you took bacon gravy, never mind. All right, I can't. I won't say that. That's fine. I hit you in your bad knee. Oh, I'm sorry. I tried to test her reflexes, and I hit her right in the bad knee with a karate chop.
The best thing about you shaving your goatee,
yeah,
your dimples show.
Oh, no, the best thing is that you can see 9 chins flopping while I move my mouth real fast. Sure, so yeah. I have one dimple. I have one. But that was the thing, is I have one really prominent dimple on my right-hand side. Folks, listen, here's more about my head. An idiot. On my right-hand side, there's one prominent dimple, and on the left-hand side, it's barely there, but when I lose weight, it shows up. Like when I started to lose all my weight, it was there. No, awesome. But it's like the one on my right side, you can put a finger in. I mean, it's like a navel. I have like a face navel. That's how deep my dimple is on my right-hand side. But on the left-hand side, it's there, but when I really lose weight, that's when it really starts to become prominent. Can you put an egg in there? There you go. Vibrate it up. I should do the whole show with a vibrator egg in my face navel. I wish that was the name of the show. It's too early. That can't be the name of the show. So yeah, this is the humor you get from former stand-up comedian Mike Schmidt, folks. Unbelievable the other night. So I'm there, I watch, and they do their flavor tasting and all this bullshit, and then Jesse goes, our next guest, and he gives me a little build-up. He's the host of the 40-Year-Old Boy, former stand-up comedian Mike Schmidt, and he said former stand-up comedian, and I'm in the back of the room, and I just went, ha-ha! Because it was so great. Who the fuck? What, really? You're stabbing me with a fork before I even get to the goddamn panel? Seriously? And I laughed, and he goes, what? No, you've said like you've moved on. You're like a former stand-up comedian, and I laughed again. I'm like, and then Jordan starts talking to me, and I go, this would work better if I was on the panel. And then they go, oh yeah, okay, Mike Schmidt, and they bring me up to the table because I'm in the back of the room having a conversation with them. Like, dudes, introduce me. We can talk about this when I get up there. And sure enough, I go up there, and I said to him, I go, former stand-up comedian, and he's like, well, no, because and he meant it in a nice way, like you've now become a podcaster and all these different things, and it's funny. Then Pat Francis writes me, and all he wrote is, please welcome, and I just said, former stand-up comedian Mike Schmidt, and I just wrote Pat back, and I said, sadly, if you ask the industry, they would agree. And then Pat was like, well, maybe he meant this, maybe he meant this. And I'm like, no, he truly believed that I stopped doing it. And I have. I mean, quite, there's nothing I can't say that I haven't. I mean, I definitely have stopped. I never thought I'd put in my, papers. I never gave my 2-week to the entertainment industry. But apparently, Jesse's going ahead and he's kind of making sure that everything's in the pipeline for me. Jesse's the HR of stand-up comedy, and he's gone ahead and accepted my 2-week. And announced it to the world, for Christ's sake. But man, I had a great time doing their show. So thanks, Jordan and Jesse. And I gotta say this, folks. There's a podcast out there that I've not listened to. I'm not familiar with. I know what it is. It's called Stop Podcasting Yourself. And the only reason I know of it because it's Jesse has talked about it and it's part of the Maximum Fun family now, and that's how they do things. But there was a guy named Dave Shumka. I think I'm pronouncing it right. He was on the panel there. What a fucking funny guy. I mean, it was like I wanted to talk to him. I know that sounds awful. No offense to Jordan and Jesse. I've talked to you guys before, okay? But when Shumka was sitting there, you know why? He got to be me. He got to be me because he got to be funny, like chime in from the side kind of and just swing in on a vine and drop a Tarzan yell funny and bail. That's what Shumka did, man. Because I saw 3 segments. I saw the drinking, eating segment, and then I saw the Super Ego segment, and then my segment. And then I got to see part of the next one with Hollywood Gene O'Neill or whoever the fuck they brought on stage. Some guy who's like, everybody's got their own mythology for their show. Like they bring him up and his crowd goes crazy. And I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but apparently they all know who he is because they do. But yeah, so Dave Shumka, I'm going to have to, I immediately went home and I downloaded Stop Podcasting Yourself, a few of them because Jesus was that guy funny, man. So there you go. But yeah, and he's not former funny man, Dave Shumka. He's got both feet in it right now, as opposed to me, who is, arm's lengthing funny and has been for quite a while now.
This is the 40-Year-Old Boy on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. And coming up later, Pork Chops and Ass.
Oh, I'm Vic.
And I'm Vinny.
And we're the Screw Brothers. And even in this economy, the sex toy business is booming. Come on down to the House of Filth and save money on toys like these.
Brazilian Snatch Wax.
It's a Jodie Foster vibrating tongue.
It's Prostate Pete's cock milking machine.
It's a do-it-yourself glory hole.
Pussy varnish.
We got Joy Behar's clam deodorizer.
It's a butt fucking helmet.
Who wants a goatsy ring toss?
Hey, first broad to come in and mention Mike gets a free nipple sword.
So come on down and get everything you need to boost up your sex life at the House of Filth. Remember, it ain't filthy
unless it's screw filthy.
And now back to the 40-Year-Old Boy. Already in progress.
Need to tell you folks, this week's show is sponsored by John of www.q-engineer.co.uk. John is back on board because, look, he needs to get his message of child rape out to the world, and why not? I can't blame him. He's so nice because he sponsored the show, and he's like, when he first did it, he's like, you know what, dude, maybe this will get like more people into sponsoring you, and then they'll be on board. And I said, that'd be awesome. That'd be great. And then he did a couple weeks, and then he did a couple more weeks, and then he was off. He didn't do any, and we had no sponsors. I've had people, like I said, I have many inquiries, and then those people are all very nice, and then they all decide not to do it because apparently they hear me talking about punching somebody in the vagina, and they go, I don't know if that's the right thing for Burger King. And I go, all right. Because I've had high-level discussions with the Burger King people, folks, and by high-level, I mean ordering Whoppers. And that's a fucking lie, because I have not been to Burger King. I haven't been to Burger King in, 6 years. I've been to Burger King in at least 6 years, and will never eat at Burger King again in my entire life. Nope, not interested. Because first of all, I shouldn't be eating fast food anyway. As I've mentioned with Rocky in the blog, I've shaved my goatee, folks, and that indicates that there's some sort of something afoot. Something's happening. I don't know what it is. All it means is I shaved my face to expose my. And the thing is, I have a show tonight. Dude, so terrible. I have a fucking show tonight, and I shaved my goatee. In my head, because again, it's hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It's like I've been hiding behind it, and I know I was, and so I went and I shaved today, and then it exposes my face to the world, and then you see my Cindy Crawford beauty mark, and then you see I have one. I do. It's like I wish I didn't. It's like I have a mole, like on my upper lip, but Karen's just like, it was funny when I finally shaved the goatee, because I don't think Karen had ever seen me without it, really, until like a few years ago, and then when I shaved it, she goes, you have a beauty mark. And I go, that's not a beauty. I have a mole on my face. She goes, no, that's because it's in the perfect spot for where it's supposed to be. Like, you're supposed to have one on, like, either on your cheek or on your, like, right above your yeah, it's supposed to be on your, yeah, okay, well, Lily's pointing, and I'm acting like you can see. I'm like, yeah, there. Oh, no, yeah, there. Whatever. We were going to make a video today. Are we going to do that?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna make a video, folks, and put it up. It'll be on YouTube, but it'll also be on my website because that's one of the reasons I'm making a video is to start posting shit on my website because I'm supposed to be doing that, as I've mentioned. And you'd think I'd have the time now that I'm former stand-up comedian Mike Schmidt. I would have all the time to become a multimedia mogul, but instead I get dragged back into being stand-up comedian Mike Schmidt, or at least I'm dabbling in it. Now I'm part-time comedian Mike Schmidt. We'll see. Man, when he said that, it was just because he wasn't wrong. I mean, that's the thing. He wasn't wrong. And I sat down and I paneled with them, and it was so weird because again, there's four voices talking, and you're trying to hang, and you can go watch the video. There's actually a video of it up at MaximumFun.org, and I was actually thinking about seeing if I could host it and put it on my website, but they've got it on Vimeo, and then I got to involve Oregon Kirk, and I can't do all that. What the fuck? I have to just try and use the embed codes. It was bad enough when I did the Rocky thing, and I had to put a picture. I put a stupid picture of me holding my fist up, and honestly only did that to test if I could put up pictures. Folks, I have like this crazy website. It's like having a Maserati and you don't know how to drive. Like literally, my website is so awesome and it's got all this great stuff, and I don't use it. So that's the thing is I have to start using it. Even tonight, I did this show tonight at the animation studio, and it's funny. So I'm doing the show at the animation studio, and they're like, hey man, you need to get with an animator and tell him what your set is. So he can figure out how to animate it. And then I'm doing the show at Meltdown Comics on the weekend. I'll plug all these later, but I'm doing for Battleship Pretension. And they're like, hey, man, you can talk about movies. That'd be great. We need you to talk about movies. And it's like, maybe I stopped being stand-up comedian Mike Schmidt because everybody's telling me what the fuck to do. You know what I mean? It's like the whole point is I didn't become a comedian to have a boss. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. But no, every fucking show I get is these specialized shows where they're like, hey, dude, could you do us a favor and talk about, feudal era Europe? I'm like, well, okay, I guess so. Hey, could you talk about 17th century France? Yes, I could. Ask yourselves, if you were to think of anybody who could fill up the time on any subject, it would be me, right? I mean, you'd think that I could be able to fucking shit babble about anything in the fucking world, but but being told to do it, then I'm a child, so I get my hackles up and I'm like, I'll show you, I'm not talking about nothing, and then I wind up talking in fucking circles about a goddamn sandwich. Terrible. So tonight I'm supposed to do the show with this animation guy, and I'm excited about it, but I guess I threw down a gauntlet a couple weeks ago where I'm like, I want to see the animator tries to keep up with my fucking stupid mouth. And then I'm supposed to talk with an animator and give him my set so he knows he has a heads up of what he's going to animate. Well, I've not been contacted. Nobody's called me. Nobody's gotten a hold of me. And then finally I wrote Mike, the guy who's booking it, and I said, Mike, am I going to talk to an animator? He goes, you know what, I'll get on it. So this morning, I get an email from him and the animator, and all it is the animator saying, like, I heard on your podcast you didn't think I could keep up with you. I look forward to the challenge. Well, do you fucking care what I'm going to talk about, Mike? I mean, anybody can start doodling stick figures while I fucking talk. That's fine, but is it going to be relevant to what the hell I'm spitting out of my goddamn pie hole? I don't know. Why do I care? Why do I burn every goddamn bridge? Why? Why can't I just be happy to do this animation show and be happy about it, to be asked and excited to be invited to do goddamn shows, but instead I have to bitch about fucking everything? What is wrong with me? And I don't want to be Cynical Joe. I don't want to be that fucking asshole. I want to be the guy who's like, hey, isn't this great? I want to be Jesse Harnell. I want to be someone who, but I can't. I have to find it in everything. Why the fuck? Why? And it's so funny. I come to you now. It's fucking 5:42 in the afternoon. I got the show tonight at 8. I don't know what the set list is going to be. I really don't. So, I mean, it's like, are the animators in the dark? That's okay. So am I. What the fuck? Because I just wing it. I go up and I just talk. And again, but I need the discipline of doing a fucking show. That's why, again, with the creation of the one-man show, which you guys are all on board for, right? We all know that. Shut up. Don't mock. Again, your mockery just makes me feel even worse. Terrible. But it's funny, when I did Jordan Jesse's show, we're talking, it's banter, which is fine. It's what all podcasts are. And then eventually I kind of took it over, and I started to tell, I tell stories, and Jesse was like, you tell stories as like this, and I told a short version of the George Arnold story, which is, it's first of all, it's horrible that it's become, that's it. Because you know what? He's not even, but the thing is that's funny, George is not even involved in the story. Why is it his story? Because that was the shorthand for my friends, because we all knew him, but nobody knew, his little brother. And that's the story where I hide in the person's bathtub, and then their mom comes home. So I tell this story, on here, and I've told it, like I said, I Never Not Funny, and it was always like my friends' big stories. But it's funny to me that it's become the George Arnold story. He has no idea that it even exists. George, he's not involved. Well, yeah, exactly. No fucking kidding. Well, I mean, I don't even know if he's alive. I've never even, I haven't seen him in 30 years. But yeah, it's funny to me that his name is the shorthand for it. But I did the short version at Jordan Jesse Go. I started to tell the story. And I will tell you, when something cool happens to you, when you figure it out later and you think about it, it seems like it took a long time and it was a much bigger response. So the sad version is there's video that's going to disprove everything I tell you right now. Okay. But I can tell you that when I started to tell the story, I told the story in the room, and in my opinion, I think I told like a 5-minute version of it, 5 or 6 minute version, and it was like everybody was really silent, kind of hanging on every word until at the end I said, when she had left and I'd made my way down the stairs, and I said, I made a ham sandwich, and I left. And I got a huge laugh, and I made a ham sandwich. Now, you can go watch the video, and again, I could be completely wrong. I mean, I could have gotten nothing, and it could have been a 1-minute version of a story that blew. I'm not sure. But I remember leaving, and here's why it became better in my head. Because once I finished the story and I got the laugh, Jesse was like, that's it, Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy, shook my hand, I left, and we wound up leaving. And my wife does not listen to the show, all right, but she came with me to this taping of Jordan Jesse Go, or MaximumFun.org. I don't know. Again, it was 9 different shows at once. But as we left and went outside, Karen looked at me and she's like, that story was great. Because she doesn't really know it, I said, oh, good, thanks. And she goes, that whole room was waiting for you to finish it. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, you could really feel it. Like they stopped and everybody was listening and paying attention to you. They stopped talking. They weren't texting. Nobody was doing anything but listening to what you said. And then when you said the last thing, everybody laughed. And I was like, well, if my wife notices it, then maybe I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, please don't. I don't need that. But I don't need that. You're not serious.
But I feel it.
But you don't. You're just being silly, and you're just trying to crowd surf this along. You know who you are? I'm like crowd surfing, and you're the guys in the first few rows who push me along to get me on stage just to see security punch me in the face. You're trying to bait me into something, and that's not cool, man. It's like
I'm not.
you are. There's nothing. Again, the feeling I had. What? Go ahead, say something.
The energy that I have when I listen to you tell your stories, I sit
Yes.
on the edge.
Good.
I
Yes.
think you're fucking brilliant.
Good.
And I
One
love it
person.
when it goes well.
Well, yes,
And
it went
I'm not
well.
doing it as a joke.
I
I'm
don't
not
know,
doing
but when you go like, yeah, this sounds so silly, and
But
I
it's
just.
true. It's how I feel.
But I'm at this weird.
champion
But I
you.
can't. I don't know who the fuck I am. Seriously, because I want to be that guy. I want to be all excited and like, yeah, this is fucking great. And I am sometimes. Like last week when I said the thing about the Vitamin B team, I went crazy. and listening to year 2 when I told some story and I actually went yeah, and I fucking threw something because I was so happy that I hit on something. But I can't celebrate that. I can't. It went really well the other night in my brain. But I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure the video will disprove it. So when I watch it, I'm sure it's just going to be, it's me knocking over a drink and then excusing myself and leaving the room. I mean, that's probably how it went. But just the fact that Karen noticed, like I said, so that kind of gave me a jaundiced eye and a kind of a third person look at it because I lived in it and I thought it went really great. And Jessie was really nice and everybody seemed nice. And then when I left, to have her seriously, like not even like, look, my wife can be dismissive, all right? Because wouldn't you be if you had this fucking propeller spinning idiot as your husband, for Christ's sake? I mean, there's only so many times that you can see me, fake running until you look at me like this. Until you look up at me, and then I just look at you, and she'll just like shake her head, and then because I'll do things until she looks at me and shakes her head, and then I'll stop. All right, I do that on purpose because it's funny to me because I guess I never want her to forget what kind of an idiot she's with. I have no idea, but for her who's used to my nonsense and has not fallen under the spell of me being great. Is that how I put it? She doesn't enjoy me. All right, my wife, which is a lie. She loves me and she's together with me, but that doesn't mean that she necessarily thinks I'm funny or great. Like stupid shit I'll do makes her laugh. You know what I mean? But as far as my actor, who I am as a guy, I think she's past all that because she used to come on the road with me. You know what I mean? And we would go on the road and she'd see me in dive bars or nice clubs. She'd see me all over the place. So she, I think, got over the wonderment of, holy shit, this is what my husband does for a living, that kind of thing. That's gone. So then when she sees that, and she sees me do it and kind of connect in a way that she probably hasn't seen me do, certainly in a long time, for her to say to me when we got outside, and with genuine excitement, and say, everybody was listening to you. Like almost this wonderment of, it was weird. You were like commanding that room. How weird is that? Because I'm the idiot she lives with. So even for a minute to flash on her being able to see me as the way she used to see me, and go, wow, that you've got that. Because you know what? I won't lie to you, man. It bugs the shit out of me that she won't listen to the show. It really does. I wish she did, but again, that's the 5-year-old in me going, Mom, look, Mom, look what I did, look what I did. That's, and he lives in me, and he's not going anywhere. And you know what? Quite frankly, if he wasn't in there, I wouldn't be doing this fucking show. I wouldn't be doing any shows. I'd be working in a fucking, in a kitchen somewhere, cooking shit or doing any of that stuff. But I always have, and I constantly have to feed the 5-year-old in me going, Mom, look, hey, what? Dad, where's Dad? Is Dad here? Does Dad live here anymore? Is Dad dead? What happened to Dad? That's who's inside me. That's the guy who's in there, and I have to constantly feed him with this. And that's why I freak out when I can't do a show, or when I can't get a mailing list set up, or when I can't get something sent out to you on time, or when episode 6 isn't in the goddamn year 2 download set, or when, because I keep thinking everyone's going to walk past the little kid who keeps going, Mom, and they're not going to pay any attention to him. And it's like, dude, it's fucked. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm sorry that I have to tell you all this, and I don't mean to be that guy who's Captain Maudlin bringing shit down, but it's true. All of us, every performer has got that in him. Even the greatest performer has that in him. He can pretend that he's got his villa in France and he's got speedboats and all that, and he just did it because acting interested me and I wanted to do it. Fuck that. Mom. That's why everybody started doing it, okay? And I can, I can't speak for anybody else. That's why I keep doing it. I wish it wasn't there, but it's true. And so when Karen doesn't listen, and that's every fucking week, man, she has no idea. Like I told her, like something came up the other day, I forget what it was, and I mentioned it to her, and she goes, "What is that?" And I go, "I told you about that 4 months ago." Like, I mean, it was like this thing, but she just, because I'm her husband, I'm that guy. I'm not saying I'm unappreciated, okay? Because that's incorrect. All right, I'm loved and cherished, and we're together as a team, and I get that. But again, that's not enough, man. I mean, I don't want to be loved and cherished, and I want to be fucking admired, and I want people in awe of me, motherfucker. That's what I want. I want people to go, holy shit, can you believe that just happened? And who better to express that than my wife? But then again, at the same time, it's funny because Lily is very close to me too, and I want to impress Lily too. I want to make sure that she's impressed and thinks that I'm great and all these things. But then when she is, I immediately fucking stiff arm it and go, you don't really feel that way, whatever. So that's why I guess it's strange to even think that about Karen, because why would I want Karen? Would I want Karen to listen to the show? And then go, your show was great. And I go, you have to say that, you're my wife. Because I've done that. She's seen me live, and I go, well, look, you're my wife. You have to say that legally. And she's like, no, dude, that was great. And I'll go, all right, whatever. So I guess the bottom line is I'm a fucking mess. I mean, I'm not going to be happy no matter what. I mean, it's like that 5-year-old kid inside of me is, even if you pat him on the head and give him a nice fucking yo-yo and you tell him everything's great and you buy him a bike and then you teach him how to read and all those different things, he's going to want more. You can't, he's not a 5-year-old kid. He's a fucking dragon. You know what he is? I got a 5-year-old Wolverine inside me who can't stop eating. And he's constantly consuming fucking praise and tears. That's it. That's what he's just existing on that. And I just have to fuel him, man. I have to constantly fuel him, whether by doing this, and the thing is, I don't. Like, my laziness fights against the 5-year-old. Like, I settle for, again, like a 5-year-old. Because a 5-year-old will be like, Mom, and then you give him a cookie, and he eats it, and he's quiet for an hour. Well, sadly, I do a show on a Wednesday, and that's my cookie. There you go. And now I'm quiet for a week until around Monday or Tuesday when he's like, Mom, I need attention again. And then I got to go and do the goddamn show on Wednesday. Instead of schlepping my ass out and going to get live people going, my kid, he always wants to sleep. Like the 5-year-old, he's awake and going crazy on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then the show comes out, and then he goes home and he sleeps while I fucking type out all the things to tell everybody, look at me, Facebook, look at me, Twitter, look at me, email, look at me, my new website. And then by Thursday, he's fucking got a thumb in his mouth and he's out. And he's out until goddamn Monday night, Tuesday, when all of a sudden it's like, oh, you might want to think about what you're supposed to do Wednesday because Mom! Fuck. So that's where I'm at, folks. I don't even know what spun me into that. Oh, man. Because I did the, you know why? Because I wanted, again, the one-man show is getting created. And like this week, I had to write, tickets are on sale. So, and I'll talk about that later. But tickets went on sale. And Bucky wrote me, and he goes, hey, I'm going to put the tickets on sale. I mentioned this last week about the text that had to be written for the tickets. And he compiled, to Bucky's credit, he just went to my website and basically compiled a bunch of phrases that I had created. It looked like a word jumble that I had created. And I go, look, I'll rewrite this tonight. Well, then 2 weeks later, I finally was able to get to it, and I sent him the new text. And I was so proud of it. Like, it took me, an hour to fucking think of it and phrase it the right way and all this stuff. And I was so excited. And then I sent it to him, and then again, I went to sleep. I don't have to worry anymore. So dumb. But I have to actually write the goddamn show. So then I'm writing that copy, and I'm like, well, you got to write the show. And then it's been taking shape in a way where, what I'll do is I'll think of snippets of dialogue, and because I'm trying to think of a framework, and I'm still not sure if I'm going to commit myself to certain stories, or I have no idea. So I tell you this story just to bring you along on whatever the creation of the one-man show is, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what it's going to turn out to be. So tonight, this animator is going to try to keep up with me. And I have no idea what the fucking set list is going to be. So part of me was like, just do a bunch of craziness and go all over the place. But now I'm thinking I'm going to tell like short versions of stories from the podcast here. And maybe I do the George Arnold story tonight. Maybe I do a short version of that and see if he animates that. I have no idea. Who knows what I'll wind up. I might not even go to the goddamn thing. I have no idea. What'd you say?
All he does is just draws a picture from Psycho.
Yeah, just draw. Yeah, exactly. Just draw just draw my head with a circle and a slash over it. Nobody should like this guy ever. Done. And then put your hands underneath the overhead projector and snap your pen in half and walk off. That's what this guy should do. He's not even going to be able to keep up with me. I think that's fantastic. Oh Christ. Yeah, but would you want to draw this? What if you had to draw the last fucking? Seriously, go back and listen to the last 8 minutes of the show. Would you want to draw it? I didn't even want to talk it.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and later, What the Fuck Happened to Kathleen Turner? EJ and Joaquin debate an actress who fought the War of the Roses and obviously lost.
Did you ever hear about that band?
What band?
They were called Kathleen Turner Overdrive.
Oh, I did hear about that.
I heard they had to split up because they had a picture of Kathleen Turner her face on their bass drum.
Yeah.
And then when her head got all big and puffy, they couldn't get it to fit. So that they try to get a new bass drum, but they don't make bass drums big enough to fit her head on.
They should have bought a gong.
What the fuck happened to Kathleen Turner? Find out on What the Fuck Happened to Kathleen Turner on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
What's bigger than a gong?
Hey, don't let my pining for my wife to listen to the show convince any of you to think that I really want my wife to listen to the show, by the way. Because again, the little tiny guy inside of me really wants that because he wants the pat on the head and the approval from my wife. But the real me wants nothing to do with explaining the things that have gone on this goddamn show. Because my wife, when a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned about going to the swing club with Lily. Remember that? Lily said every Wednesday she wants to go to a swing club. I mentioned it to my wife in passing. Not happy, my wife. And it was one of those weird, married couples will realize this. It was one of the things that at the time wasn't a big deal. But then 4 days later, she was being shitty to me, and I knew something was still wrong and something had gone on. And then it came out in if you just, I just want to let you know that if you want to go to a sex club with Lily, then go right ahead. And I went, whoa, hold on a second. Somebody misinterpreted everything that I said. I said, she was getting invitations from a sex club, and I said she asked if you and I would want to go with her and Eddie. She's like, I'm telling you that if you want to go with them, then that's fine. Go right ahead. Go ahead. And she's all pissed. And I'm like, dude, no. Why would I go alone, first of all? That's crazy and creepy. And second of all, if we went, we don't have to go fuck anybody. We can go have just like a drink or hang out. I mean, believe me, I think our swing club time is past. I covered that in year 1, folks, all right? It's so funny. I wish I had the chance to tell that again, like to tell it over again. I think of stories because when I first started this show, man, I didn't know what I was doing. Not that I do now, but But I hear stuff from the early days, and I'm like, and there's some episodes that have like 4 and 5 different stories jammed in, and I'm like, fuck, if I would have lived in those stories, I would have gotten so many more episodes. Fuck, we'd be in year 4 already, folks. Which is stupid. I would somehow make time go faster by lengthening my stories. All right, I guess somehow I would have stepped it up, and we'd be in 2011. But yeah, man, Karen she just fucking drop of a hat mad now at everything, and it's like, oh fuck, I don't want her to listen. I mean, you know why? Because I just want the reaction I got the other night. That's the thing. If I can guarantee that, if she can only, this was the thing that I couldn't believe it from 4 months ago. She didn't know about the iMix on iTunes, the Audio Karen iMix, and it's so funny because someone wrote her to say how amazing the episode was and how she should be happy about it or whatever. And she didn't know what the fuck it was back then. And I told her, I said, because back then she's like, what did you talk about? I said, I talked about you this week and told her, told the story. And so she told me she listened to it. Like the next day she was like sad. She was like, oh my God, I listened to it and it was so nice and blah, blah. She's like, do you have those CDs? Like, can I have them and put them in the car? And I said, if you want them. I go, but I boiled it all down and I made an iMix of the songs, and I said, I'll put it on your iPod if you want. And she was like, yeah, I think so. But then she never checked with me again. Like, she never asked. She forgot about it. Like in an hour, because it's my wife. She's me. We both have fucking OCD. Or an ADD. We had all those D's. And but sure enough, so the other day, it came up like I was on the iTunes, and she said she was playing a song. And she heard it in the radio, and I go, we have that song on, because I have like 17,000 songs on my iPod. So my wife will, can you buy the song for me? And I'll go, why don't you punch it in your iTunes and see that it's there? Because you have every song, any song you could possibly want. And I said, that's on your iMix. And she goes, what are you talking about? I go, that's on, This Is Your Fault. That's on the Audio Karen iMix. She's like, I don't know, what are you talking about? And I sat her down at the desk, and I pulled it up, and I showed it to her, and I go, you never saw this? She goes, no. I go, you said you listened to the episode. In the episode, I told people that I had made an iMix and where to go and what to do with it. And she's like, oh. She had no, and there's a note to her on it, and like she had no idea, man. She didn't even know it existed. And I'm like, and then of course, so then, better late than never, I get the residual, oh, thanks. Oh, and again, so, which is neat. And the little guy in me's like, Mom, look. So I was happy to get that. But that means for 4 months, like, she didn't even know it existed. Like, so did she really listen to the episode? I don't, because again, folks, she lives with me. She doesn't need to listen to a fucking over an hour of my nonsense because she fucking lives with it. She sees it all the time. She sees me at a restaurant. She sees me at Trader Joe's when I have to try to run away from people. I mean, she pulled that shit. You know what? This is her fault. We were at the Trader Joe's the other day, okay? Because again, folks, Rocky is starting. All right. So last week I was like, I got to get one more round of supplies before Rocky starts. I got to go in and get more candy. So when I go in there, it's a big fucking production. I can't just grab them. I have to pick each one up and look around and try to find which one has the most whites in it. Again, I'm crazy. So, but this is my last trip to do it. So I'm like, I've got to make the most of it. So we walk in and we get there. It was like this Trader Joe's by my house now closes at 10. So it's a godsend because it used to be 9 o'clock, but now that extra hour of being able to go get candy is fantastic. Although it ended June 1st. But so sure enough, man, we go in there. It's like 9:40, and I walk right to the candy aisle, and there was only like 10 containers of that candy. Usually they have like 30. And so it's more to choose from. But with only 10, and I'm like, this is my last trip ever for the candy. Like, what if they aren't good? What if they aren't good packages? Oh my God, I'm going to have to put this off till tomorrow. And I go, no, fuck you. Get the candy now. So I went up and I look at it, and Karen goes, oh, she goes, they don't have a lot. I go, that's fine. I'll make do. And she goes, hi, Jennifer. I don't know who the fuck Jennifer is, but all of a sudden Karen's like, hi, Jennifer. And I hear, oh, hi, can I help you? She walks over. Jennifer works at Trader Joe's. But my wife knows her by name. I don't know how the fuck she knows her. Granted, she's wearing a name tag, but she's like far away. Like, I don't know if Karen's, spied it on the way over. Because I'll do that to people too. I'll say, hi, Morty, or whoever the fuck works there. Morty? Yes, they've hired a lot of 40s Borscht Belt comedians to work at Trader Joe's. When vaudeville dried up, they immediately went into to fucking cashiering. So, second use of cashiering today. So Karen's like, hi, Jennifer. And Jennifer walks over, and Karen goes, do you know if you have any more of these candies in the back? And first of all, there's 10 of them there. Isn't that enough? Like, wouldn't that be enough for any normal human being? And Jennifer goes, well, oh, no, I'm not sure if we do. Do you need do you need more than that amount? I mean, are you giving them away as gifts, or how's this working? And because I've had that question before, I'll buy like 4 at a time to sort them out, and I'll put them down. And everybody go, oh, you give these away like as gifts? Nope. You should know better than ask a fat guy who's buying a lot of candy what he plans on doing with it. You know what he plans on doing with it? He plans on fucking Augustus glooping the shit out of it and then getting caught into the goddamn chocolate tube. That's what he's going to do. I'm going to eat all this candy, have it all over my face, then fall into the chocolate river and get sucked up into the fucking pneumatic tube and clog the whole thing. And then they're going to have to fucking call an Oompa Loompa with a goddamn pan flute, Zamfir style. But sure enough, people ask me all the time, oh, yeah, you giving these away as gifts? Nope. I'm eating every fucking last piece of those, except the oranges. I don't like those. I open it up and I sort them and I count them and I go ahead and make sure I get a little chart. You know what I mean? Do you really want to hear my crazy? No. But sure enough, fucking Jennifer walks over and she's like, hey, what do you want to do with the, do you need more than that? And Karen goes, oh no, and I go, look, I'm retarded. Okay. Literally, I say that and she goes, and Jennifer gets his face. She goes, no, you're not. Thanks, Jennifer. I'm glad Name Tag and Box Cutter has reassured me that I'm not retarded. I appreciate that. But you don't really know me. Really, we've only exchanged 2 sentences. You have no idea if I'm retarded or not, but I appreciate you stepping up to the plate and trying to reassure me. Jesus Christ. I mean, I guess it's someone's personal instinct to just try to reassure somebody who feels like they're making fun of themselves or bad-mouthing themselves. Oh, no, you're a good person. No, don't tell me I'm a good person. You're in a sweatshirt in a fucking frozen foods aisle stocking pot pies. I don't need your opinion. But I look at her and I go, look, I'm retarded, okay? It's a long story. I like to get the candy, and then I look for white ones inside of it. And she goes, oh, I go, because I hate the orange ones. She goes, oh, I love the orange ones. I go, really? I've got a wheelbarrow full of them at my house you can have. So I think we're done. So I turn around and I start to count the candy, and then she starts talking, and I realize she's talking to Karen. And she's like, well, I could go look in the back if that's what you wanted. I'd go ahead and take a look. No answer. Did you want me to look for more candy or anything? I'm counting whites and oranges. So I turn around. Karen's gone. Karen called Jennifer over and left. Used her name. Actually used her name. Hi, Jennifer. Do you have any more of these in the back? And then slipped off into the night like a thief. You know what she stole? My privacy. Because now Jennifer's talking to the back of my head. Hey, do you want me to go look in the back? And I turn around and I go, no, Jennifer, I'm fine. It's okay. I'll make do with these. And she goes, I'm really sorry I couldn't help you more. And I go, that's okay. She goes, we'll have more this week. I'm like, stop talking to me, Jennifer. I'm deep into candy sorting mode. I don't need to, and I don't need you to know my goddamn problems. She goes, yeah, but I really like the orange ones. I don't know why they wouldn't just sell these individual packages. And I go, yeah, it's weird because they have the cherries by themselves, but then over here they have all of these mixed up, and but that's fine. I'll make do. So I start counting again, and she goes, you know what you could do? You can go on Craigslist. What? You're still fucking talking to me? Really? That's happening? And again, I realize this is misplaced anger. I'm not angry at her. I'm angry at my goddamn fucking wife, who I've been together with for 17 years, and again, somehow lures me into a conversation with a stranger that I wouldn't have if I was dying. If I had been hit by a car and Jennifer came to help me, I wouldn't have talked to her this fucking long. So I'm sorting through the goddamn candy. I'm looking. She's still talking to me. She goes, you know what? You should go on Craigslist. Are you fucking serious? But that's just crazy enough to get me to ask why. So I actually do a slow burn. Like I'm looking at the candy. She goes, you should go on Craigslist. I turn my head really slowly to the left and I go, what? Why? She goes, well, because a lot of people go to Trader Joe's and there's stuff that we discontinue and they'll buy a lot of it and they'll like trade it and stuff on Craigslist. And I wanted to go, look, I understand the cult of your organic nonsense food and you and Whole Foods seem to think you're saving the planet in some fucking way. But I don't think fat people trading your food on Craigslist is anything to brag about. So I look at her, and she's genuinely honest. She's like, yeah, you should go on there. People have it. I go, look, all right, here's how I hang myself. I go, you know what? I've been doing this a long time. What? But again, it's because you know what? The longer you talk to me, the odds increase that I'm going to say something stupid. This is why I don't talk to anybody. Because the longer you have a conversation with me, eventually I'm going to paint myself into a corner or say Hitler was right or do something stupid just to get you to stop listening to me. And partially it's going to be on purpose, and partially it's going to be just to get you the fuck away from me. It's a verbal stiff arm. Leave me alone. By the way, at the One Man Show, I'll be happy to meet and greet people and talk to you there. I'm not this misfit. I swear to God I'm not, because I genuinely have fun with people. I'm funny. It's funny. I told the story about the dentist when I got my checkup and everything was great. I didn't tell this part. As they're telling me, like, I made sure she goes, my cleaning was done in 20 minutes. She goes, I think we're going to bump you up to 6 months. And I said, that's fantastic. So we went to the counter. I forgot. I can't believe it. When I listened back to the show, I'm so pissed because I got sidetracked by herpes. We go to the counter and she goes to make my new appointment. And I go, and with Christina, and she goes, he needs a new appointment. And I go, tell her. And Christina goes, what? And I go, tell her. The woman behind the counter, because they see me all the time. And she goes, he did really well. And I said, no. I said, tell her the other thing. And she goes, well, we've been bringing him in every 3 months for a cleaning. We're going to bump it up to 6 months. That's how good he's done. And I just sat there smiling, like nodding my head. And the woman behind the counter goes, that's really great. And I go, yes, it is. That's great. And the doctor comes out, the dentist, Dr. Sands. And he walks out, and he goes, hello, how are you? And I said, tell him. And Christina goes, oh, well, he did really well. And the doctor goes, I heard. I go, I know you heard. You absolutely heard. I said, because when I came in here, my mouth was like, it looked like someone had driven a plane into it. My mouth looked like, literally, the only thing missing was Matt Lauer going, oh, no. Comparing my mouth to the World Trade Center. That's how bad it looked. But Dr. Sands is like, he goes, I heard. And I go, yes, you did. And so I'm getting the new appointment for the next month or whatever. And there's a family in the waiting room. There's a woman with her 3 children. And they gave me my appointment. They gave me my card. And I go, thank you. And I walked out. And the woman was looking at me. And I go, I don't know if you heard. I did very well. And she goes, I heard. And I said, yes, you did. And I looked at the kids and I go, see, it's possible, huh? And because again, that's charming, Mike. That's fun, Mike. That's Mike who's having a good time. That's not Mike who's having a 47-minute conversation about his candy obsession with a fucking sweatshirt-clad box cutter holding chick. Come on, you hippie lifer. I don't want to talk about Craigslist food with you. Leave me alone. Go stock your tofu pie and get out of my fucking candy zone. Jesus Christ. And where's my wife while this is all going on? Around the corner crouching and tee-heeing her fucking ass off. Because she can't believe she lured me into a goddamn conversation with another stranger with a box cutter. I can't tell you how many times that has happened to me, folks. To the point where I just want to wrestle her to the ground and plunge it into my goddamn neck. Go on Craigslist and trade the candy with them. And I said, I literally looked at her and I said, I go, you know what? At that point, then, I'm just too fat. And she goes, no, you're not. Really? Really? I'm holding 5 containers of candy, counting the colors to try to figure out the best ones to bring home, and I'm not retarded or fat? That right there qualifies you for both. That's the definition of retarded fat. Holding 5 different 1.5-pound containers of candy, counting through them, trying to find the right colors to eat and sort. That's fatarded. That's what that is. And by the way, Fatarded is brought to you by John at www.q-engineer.co.uk. For all of your fat-tarded needs, for all of your crazy fat retarded needs, please, by all means, find John at www.q-engineer.co.uk. Not only does he advocate Hitler was right, not only does he feel that child rape is on the table at all times, but John also feels that fat and retarded should be combined into one word at some point and made into fatarded. Oh, that's great. All right. But that gets back to Karen, man. That's fucking Karen. That's what she did. She pulled the fucking bait and switch. I know she laughed her ass off because then I'm talking to this chick. I'm like, oh, come on. Really? So then I come around the corner and I just see Karen. She's, but part of her also is oblivious because my wife is she's just cute. I can't even explain it. My wife is really cute in the stuff that she does. So she really doesn't know that she left that, she pulled the pin on a grenade and left is what she did. And then I come around the corner and she's just looking at fruit, like squeezing avocados and, flicking pineapples. Bonk, bonk, bonk. And I go, you think that was funny? And she goes, what? I go, I don't know, that all of a sudden you paired me up with Box Cutter Jennifer in a candy search. And then she laughs her ass off because then she realizes what she did. Because she doesn't, in the beginning she sort of knows, but then she probably didn't mean to do it. She was going to talk to the woman, but then the woman started to reassure me that I wasn't retarded, and Karen got bored and just went, "Oh, look, something shiny," and fucking disappeared around the corner. God damn it. Oh man! In the meantime, I'm like, and that's when the little guy in me is just like, Mom, can you get the strange lady away from me, Mom? Because again, I don't want to fucking talk to anybody. But part of me does. I'm a charming guy at the dentist. That's fine. I don't mind talking to people there. But when it just turns into, you know why? Again, it gets back to the fat thing. It was like, I didn't need to tell and expose my crazy to this chick. That was the whole deal. To tell her that I take this candy home and I sort it and break it down by color. And, she doesn't need to know all that. She just needs to know that I'm fat and retarded. That's all she needs to know. I'm fat-tarded. That's it. That brings the message home for you, lady. You guys can get me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can get me at, well, I'll tell you them anyway, but go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and go to the Hey You Can Get Me At page. I just said, hey, you guys can get me at. Well, go to the You Guys Can Get Me At page at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. And then, but if you don't have the time, folks, I understand. If you don't like to have your links centrally located and you want to go all over the web, then you can go to Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can go to Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy and follow me there. It's funny, I find myself answering people more than Twittering. Like, people will write me and things like that. So I wind up having a little dialogue with them, which is, I guess that's what Twitter's for, but it's, speaking in, because again, it's perfect. I can have 140 character discussions and then I can move on. I don't have to worry about you and your sweatshirt and your box cutter coming ahead and asking me all about my candy fix. All right. But go to twitter.com/the40year-old-boy and follow me over there. If you want to follow our friend Lily Von Stupp, you can go follow her at twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can be her friend at facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. And if you want to send her a personal note. Oh, wait, also don't forget twitter.com/MNTees to go ahead and get all sorts of information about the Monday Night Teas. And if you want to send her something that's, again, very heartfelt, you would send her a note at lily@burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Zazzle.com/40year-old-boy. Please buy all his stuff.
Want to remind you folks that every Monday night, the Monday Night Teas at the Three Clubs is sponsored by John of www.q-engineer.co.uk. Whenever you see finely waxed ladies spinning their tassels, please think of John at q-engineer.co.uk because he is the mastermind behind all of it. In fact, he's inventing a stripper pole that it's nonstick. That's right, John at www.q-engineer.co.uk is inventing a non-stick Teflon stripper pole. So no more will you be seeing a stripper trying to concentrate how sexy he is, and then you have to hear that Velcro ripping noise. It's out! John has gone ahead and taken care of it right there at www.q-engineer.co.uk. It's some space-age polymer. I don't pretend to know what it's about. Go ahead and join his affiliate program. I did. All right. Lily.
Yes.
Who's at the Monday Night Teas this week?
Oh my Christ! We have 3 girls from Finland, 2 girls from Scotland, and the Emerald Dollies from Seattle.
Okay, Seattleland. There's Finland.
Seattleland.
There's Finland, and what was the other land?
Finland and Scotland.
Finland, Scotland, and Scotland. I don't know, a Scottish.
No.
That's like a very manly.
Fucking hot.
I'm sure they are. Okay, but I'm just telling you what the image brings up in my head when I hear Scottish strippers. I immediately think of some dude with like the bulgingest red bush ever under a kilt. Oh my God, does that sound awful? And I'm sure they're sexy and hot, but it just seems like such a manly, the brogue and the dudes. And it's funny, my brother is one of my brothers. My Mech saw pictures of my brother, and he goes, dude, he looks like you if you dressed up as a Scotsman for Halloween. And I'm like, I see what you're saying. Because my brother's like a big, burly, red-headed, red beard dude. And that's what I think of when I think of Scotland. So I now when I think of these chicks, I'm going to think of like, muscles on muscles and crazy red bushes. But that's not happening, right?
I don't believe so.
I hope not. But I disagree. But please, let's not get it twisted. I'm for a red bush, okay? If you have red hair and then you've got red floors, keep them. Redheads should not go bare floor. They should not wax it because the whole point is you're a redhead. Oh my God, it's perfect. It's like blondes. I'm sorry, if you're a natural blonde and you have a blonde bearskin rug down there, boom, it stays. It stays. Blondes and redheads should not completely wax. It should be there because that's the whole point. Everybody else, gone. Sorry. Get a Roomba and drive over it. Take care of it. Is that what they do? I don't know if that's what they do. Who knows what they do? But yeah, if you're not a natural redhead or a natural blonde, have a Roomba drive right over your crotch. And have it lay its vibrating egg inside of you. So eventually you can rub it on your friend's face. Now that I think about it, because it's like Chrome, this thing that she has, that looks like a Roomba laid that vibrating egg. Because that's what it, oh, come on. Why didn't I think of that earlier? That's fucking hysterical. Aha! Remember earlier I told you folks that I didn't think I was funny? I'm funny. All right, so Finland's in the house, Scotland, and then the Emerald Dollies from Seattle. So that sounds like a great show. Is there a code word?
No.
No, I'm getting there's no code word because these people are coming from out of town all the time.
I gotta pay them big bucks.
Yeah, you cough up the dough.
I pay the local trash.
Well,
and I'm kidding.
Wow, the local trash, ladies and gentlemen, as I stare at their calendar on the wall. I do. Oh, I do, but I don't have a vagina. Seriously, anybody with a vagina hears that and runs with it. Believe me, nobody with a vagina goes, "Oh, she called us all trash." That's hysterical. Nope. They are right now. I can tell you right now. You ever see those old movies where, like, they show the operator with the headset and she's answering, like, Mabel, get me Transylvania 65000, and then it expands to where, like, it's 1,000 operators. That's happening right now with the local burlesque community as they're like local trash, local trash, local trash. If they had any sense of humor at all, some of them would start up a show called Local Trash, or. Yeah, you should. Or, well, yeah, you would, but then you'd book it and everybody like, come on, that passive-aggressive bullshit's going to start. Oh, well, I guess we're just local trash now. We're not somebody fancy from Finland, Miss Burlesque Producer.
Oh, I do have to choose my words better, don't I?
You? That's fat-tarded what you said. So go to the Monday Night Teas and get on the mailing list and go ahead and check on Facebook. And isn't there a page where they can be a fan of it? Yes? Be a fan on the page. Go to burlesque411.com. Is that what it is? Our Burlesque Podcast. Listen to the Burlesque Podcast.
Do it all.
She's got more shit than I do. Go to the Lily and Mex page on my website and look at all the links for Lily and follow them all. Because I can't. She's got more plugs than I do. We were just talking about how I need to do a recorded plug so I don't have to plug everything all the time. Fuck that. We need to record a plug for Lily's plugs. Just so she doesn't stick her foot in her mouth with local trash. All right. You're in trouble. You're in trouble. That's the thing. Is your face. That's the thing. Is like we joke about it, but she knows that she's going to fucking hear about it because, again, vaginas don't like that kind of stuff. All right. That should be the name of the show. Vaginas don't like that kind of stuff. Why do I call all women? It's not nice, but still nicer than local trash. All right. So where were we? So yeah, Monday Night Teas. Every Monday night at 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine, 10 o'clock on Monday nights. Go ahead and get in the and no code word yet because we've got all these Finland and Scotland and other lands are coming in. Trashland will be there too. Don't forget that. Also want to tell you folks that September is coming. I don't know why I would say September, but in June next week, or is it next week or this Saturday, June 5th? June 5th, I am at Meltdown Comics. Doing the Battleship Pretension comedy show. And let me tell you, folks, it's not just me. It's Paul Goebel and Paul Rust and the Sklar brothers. They're all funny. Go see them. And then just hang around and watch me talk about movies. Again, that's another show. Hey, you got to talk about movies. Oh, great. I'm glad I have a boss. All right. And I even tried to negotiate. I'm like, can I tell a story about going to the movies? And they're nice. They're like, yeah, whatever you want to do. But I know that that's not what they want. So then I have to come with movie material, I guess. Regardless, folks. Look, I always do what I'm told. So come out and see it. Come out to the Battleship Pretension show, because even if I don't do what I'm told, fucking believe me, Paul Rust and the Sklar brothers and Paul Goebel are going to fucking dominate that show. They're going to be so good that even the comic book nerd out front is going to go, hey, I got to go check out that show, and turn the open sign to closed. So it'll go from C-3PO to Darth Vader, because there you go. That's how they'll work it. Every time I walk in that joint, I always find that one dark corner where they've got like the pornographic comics. You know what I mean? And it's funny, they stopped stocking them or something. So there's all these dog-eared copies, and I'm flipping through, seeing the same shit that I've always seen. But I don't care. I still look, even though if that place if they murder the clerk, they're going to dust it for prints. They're going to find this one dog-eared copy of porn, and my fingerprints are from like 5 years ago. Every time I go to that joint, I pick up this same particular comic book and thumb through it. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm awful. I'm an idiot. Is there any wonder why my wife would pull a pin on a grenade and run around the corner away from me? No, there isn't. And I don't want her to listen. Hopefully, what if she did? What if this was the show she decided she was going to jump on and listen now? Oh, I hope not. Because I try to act like it doesn't bother me. I don't care. You know what I mean? But then she'll do stuff like, look, I look at chicks all the time. And I told you, I'm always like, hey, it's like being in a museum and looking at art. And it is. But what drives me crazy is my wife will see like a celebrity guy or something. And then she'll kind of be like, ooh, there's a celebrity guy there. But she doesn't really think it's, she's not like going, ooh. But it doesn't matter. I still get that weird thing of like, hey, what the fuck? What about me? What's wrong with me? I'm an idiot. We're out last night eating. And sure enough, this guy walks in. And she sees him. I don't see his face. And he walks out and she goes, whoa. And I go, what? And she goes, that's the guy. That's the growing pains guy. And I go, who? Alan Thicke? I hope not. And she goes, no, the youngest kid. I go, that guy's dead. She goes, what do you mean? And I go, Brian Bonsall, he's dead. And I don't even know if Brian Bonsall's from Family Ties or fucking any, whatever, Growing Pains. All I know is I can't believe that she's like she's a celebrity. And I'm like, what? So I go, that guy's dead. I go, plus, you'd know if it was him because he's got like 9 fucking rings in his lip and he's got all these tattoos. He's like a junkie. That couldn't have been him. She goes, I'm telling you, it was him, the youngest kid from Growing Pains. I go, fuck no, I don't think so. So then we're eating, and then he comes back in with his cell phone. I look up. It's him. But it's Jeremy Miller. It's the guy who played Ben Seaver, the youngest son, the young brother before they tricked everybody and got a baby. You know what I mean? Yes. When it was Tracy Gold and Cameron and then Jeremy Miller. So it was him. And he walks in and he's got shorts and he's dressed like a normal guy, a little pooch belly, like, yeah, lay off the beer, Ben Seaver. But he comes in to pick up his Persian food and he's on the phone and he's got shorts on or whatever. And he had sandals on. And I said, and Karen goes, I go, you know what? You're right. That's him. And she goes, I told you. And I go, yeah, I thought you meant the youngest kid who they brought in like the last season to trick people and is still watching. I go, but yeah, that's Ben Seaver. That's him. And she goes, oh yeah. And I go, I'll tell you what though, he's got a pooch belly, right? I mean, and she goes, oh, shut up. And I go, look at him. I go, all I'm saying is put down the 12-pack, Ben Seaver. And she's like, shush, be quiet. And I go, oh, come on. I'm not saying it loud. And I wasn't. He was far away from us. And he's on the phone anyway. What the fuck? He doesn't care. But he just looks like a normal man. That's who he is now. So he's wearing sandals. And I go, I'll tell you this, though. I go, come on. If you're on TV, buy some socks. Seriously, cover your feet. Because I am not a sandals guy, especially for men, folks. I go, seriously, dude, buy some fucking shoes. If you've been on television, you got to have shoe money somewhere lurking. And Karen goes, I think he has nice feet. And I went, oh, my God, I want a divorce. I want a divorce right now. And she just starts laughing. I go, that is the most horrible thing you've ever said. I go, seriously, I want to vomit. I want to vomit now because you want to shrimp Ben Seaver right here in the goddamn Persian restaurant. And she's like, I don't want to shrimp anybody. And I go, oh, Christ, seriously, you're going to put his feet in your mouth? And she's like, oh, shut up. Why are you saying that? Don't say that. And I go, I'm not saying it loud where he can hear, but seriously, I want a divorce. That is the grossest thing. I can't. You really? She goes, well, he does. He has nice feet. I go, oh, stop saying it. Now you're just driving the nails into the coffin. I don't want to know. Because, again, I look at tits. I look at ass. I look at ladies, and there's not a problem with it. And I look at chick feet. I'm not going to lie to you. Again, I notice it. I see hot feet. I'm a feet guy sometimes. But I don't want to know about the maintenance of feet. And dude feet are out the fucking door. Not interested. But she goes, I think he has nice feet. So then immediately my mind leaps to, oh my God, you want to rub his feet? Oh, gross. And I know that's not true. That's not the case at all. But it doesn't matter. Look, if she would have said, look at the package on Ben Seaver, I would have been all for it. I don't even care. If you want to notice Ben Seaver's cock, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. But Jesus Christ, his feet, there couldn't be anything worse. Oh, man. So I go, really? You want to shrimp Ben Seaver? No, but why would you do that? Why do I spit out this random bullshit that nobody fucking cares about? I am peddling obscenity. I am going to get a whole fucking army of you people, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to listen to me and then do nothing for an entire fucking week. I can't be trusted. Don't you people know this? It was like the Back to the Future of suck. I don't want to have a boner in somebody else's pants. I need to shoot up heroin and jog. Hey, ass fuck, are you listening to anything that I'm saying to you? Fuck, somebody's got to shut that old guy up. And I'm like, fuck you! I'm not a potato! I'm a goddamn cantaloupe! Hi, Mike. 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 Hi, Mike.